Oh yeah. This is Friday the 11th of December. Hello. I'm just a little bit confused. Kind of like usual, I guess. I'm Maya, by the way. You can find me as sjomajlin on Instagram and Ravelry. Yes, and on YouTube, where you're probably at right now. I'm coming to you from Jönköping, Sweden. Today, again. We are getting close to the third Sunday of Advent, so I'm starting a bit early. On Sunday is also our Lucia, which is very weird if you think about it. Celebration of, well, anticipating the returning of light and life. So it's sweet. The history of it is not so sweet though, but I'm really looking forward to that. So, hi, how are you? Is everything good? I have so many little snippets of thoughts rushing around my head, so I'm hoping to get it all in. I've tried a few times to have little like show notes or like manuscript for myself. That just confuses me more, so I'm not doing that, so let's just go for it. Has something happened since last? Yes, the concert. I told you last week that I was going to a concert on Friday night. Sorry. I'm not gonna sneeze. Not today. The concert was amazing. Amazing. I was... How do I say? I was just about as overwhelmed as I had anticipated to be. So that was really, really good. I had a really good time. And then on Saturday, I went home to my parents to bake gingerbread cookies with one of the nephews who was there, and then my mom made gingerbread cookies with the other nephew a while later when the rest of their family arrived. So we had a really good time. Other than that, I'm really trying to get into the holiday spirit, and I'm doing okay, I guess. Thing is the weather. We've had very much of every other day weather this week. One day it's been, you know, raining and just grey and dreary, very November-y weather here. And the other day, every other day has been sunny and bright, which is better than rain, yes, but it's been feeling almost more like spring. So we've been sort of going between November and, I don't know, April. I want snow. I want freezing degrees below zero and snow. I think that would really help to get into the spirit as well. Well, we can decide, right? And I guess that's good. Knitting, I've done. I told you last week a little bit about me having some issues with my body, that I'm in some pain, I guess, or ache. It's been better this week. It's been much better. Not completely good, but much better. So it's okay. I have 2 finished objects. I finished the socks that I was working on. I had finished one of them last week and I was working on the second one, and now they are both finished. So they are shorty socks. Fish lips kiss heel over close to 2/3 of the stitches. In this case, I am knitting over 64 stitches. The foot is 64 stitches, and I'm knitting the heel over 40, which is close to 2/3. I mentioned last week that I was going to block them down to make the toe fit better, because I had made it a bit too pointy and I really didn't feel like ripping out and doing them again, so I blocked them down and... Excuse me! Sorry. And they are good. They work. Haven't worn them yet, but I will. And I also showed you last week that I had made a yarn over and knit into it as if it was a stitch. It is right here. You can still see it. And it doesn't bother me at all. I can see it. I'm not sure. I mean, someone who don't know about it will probably not see it, and people who are not knitters won't. So they are finished. This is a no brand sock yarn, 75% wool and 25% polyamide or nylon. I think it was polyamide. One skein was 50 grams and that was 210 meters, and I got 2 socks and this much left out of that. And I knit these on 2mm needles on my carbons DPNs. Let me put them over there. And then I have a second finished object, which is a Christmas ball from the Arne and Carlos book of Christmas balls. So there are Christmas trees going around. And I knit this out of the same yarn as always. I don't know. I think it's Cilia. And then, because I wanted to stock up, but I was running out, so I wanted to get more of that. But my yarn store had stopped carrying that yarn, so I bought another, which was essentially the same. Now, I don't remember the name of that. Well, it's sock yarn, anyway. And I've knit this on 2.75mm needles. Yeah. So... those are my finished objects. Then I have works in progress. Or well, I can show you this actually, which also is a finished object. I made my Christmas cards that are going in the mail later on. There are obviously cards you can buy finished, but I was just about to say I enjoy making my own. That is not completely true. I enjoy having made my own. Is probably more true. So this year they look like this, and I just realized I'm showing you one where I made a... You don't have to look at that. So I glued on buttons. You can see that maybe. Let me just stand up and come in closer. Can you see it if I hold it like that? Yeah, that it is sort of 3D. And you can see that I made a little error over there. So it says Merry Christmas and Happy New Year. Fairly simple. But I enjoy it. So I made a bunch of them, and they're, as I said, they're going in the mail later on. I think it's the 16th that is the latest date that they need to go out. Then I have works in progress. I was working on my Linus shawl for a while now. Oh. I did move the stitch marker to where I was when I showed you last. So you can see it's been some progress. And obviously the rows are growing and getting longer, so it's coming along. I have 3 balls that look like this. And there is so many stray hairs, I don't know. I can't blame anyone else, it's all my fault. I have 3 balls like this, and this is how much I have left of the first ball. My plan is to use them up. Maybe I'll grow tired before that, but yeah. So you can see it's shades of green and blue and yellow, but it's green. You know, it's sort of, if you have the color wheel, you're going over the green like that, I guess. So it's 100% wool yarn, no brand, pretty much. 3.5 mil needles, I think. My Knit Pro Symphony Wood interchangeable ones. You've seen that before. And then I'm also working on the Still Light tunic. I will show that in a minute. I started another thing because I wanted some variation. And then I realized so it's going to be a hat. I just knitted some ribbing. Then I realized I want to focus on the Still Light tunic because I would love to have it finished for Christmas. So I haven't done so very much on this, but I'll show it to you. This is also sort of a no brand wool yarn. It's 100% wool, 50 grams per skein. I have 3 skeins. Excuse me. And that is 92 meters per skein. It calls for size 4 millimeter needles. I'm knitting it on 3s because I have I knit kind of loosely, I guess, which is weird. I'll talk about that in a minute. In a petroleum blue tealy colorway. So just some twisted rib. I placed the camera kind of far away today to get, you know, some of this into the shot, but I'm just realizing that that wasn't really a good call. I'm not gonna move it, but I'll keep it closer next time. Some twisted rib. And that's how far I gotten with that. I am making the Amanara hat by Valeria Garcia. It's a free pattern on Ravelry. There are some twisted knit stitches traveling. I guess you can say it's not really cabling. Well, it might be. I guess the knit stitches might cable over the pearls. Well, it's not like traditional. It's not a traditional cabled hat anyway. I think it looks beautiful. I can't really say anything more about that yet because I haven't. This is how far I've gotten. So, because, as I said, and I'm just really trying to keep my thoughts organized, which is hard. A lot of my attention has obviously gone to the Still Light tunic, which is growing. So it's a pattern by Vera Velimäki. You can find it on Ravelry. I believe it's a paid for pattern. I'm sure. Something happened. I don't know. It's okay. Okay, so I don't know what to say. I'm knitting this out of, let me just tell you first, Viking of Norway baby wool. It's the same as you've seen a million times. As I said, I'm not gonna move the camera. I don't think that's really good. It's a superwash merino wool, 50 grams per ball, which is 175 meters. I'm knitting it on 2.5 mil needles. And it is coming along. Excuse me. It's knit up down. I've separated for the sleeves. I had done that last time, so they are on spare needles. I've knit down and there are pleats, increases and pleats here in front. What if I hold it up against the wall? Would that be easier to show you? Obviously without getting it burned. Maybe, because then I can sort of hold it a little bit flat. It's bunched up on the needle, obviously. So here are pleats going on, and then I separated for the pockets. So those stitches are also on a spare needle. And it's obviously it's kind of hard to show you, but I'm trying. So this is where you might be able to see that is something brighter going on there, which is a stitch marker or progress keeper. That is where I was last time. So it's gotten kind of a lot of progress. It's really hard to show you like an overview of what it looks like. But yeah, I don't know how to do this because it's getting big. What if I hold it upside down? Yeah, you can see. So the lower stitch marker that you can see there, whoa, this one, that's where I was last time. And then you can see that there is a second stitch marker higher up, which was where. Those of you who follow me on Instagram might have seen that I sort of midpoint, checkpoint, halftime, I don't know, tried to soak this to see how much it would grow. So I had popped stitch markers in, like locking progress keeper stitch markers, and measured them out properly. So I put one and then another one 20 centimeters above that, and then 10 centimeters above that. So it's 10, 20 and 30. And I soaked it and I let it dry, sort of, you know, I patted it out a little bit, and it didn't grow at all. It didn't grow anything. Which I had counted on. I had really counted on not having to knit the entire length because it would grow. And I did dry it flat. If I were to dry it hanging, it might grow a little bit from the weight of it, and with me wearing it, it might hang out, you know, a little bit from its own weight. But not enough to really, you know, calculate on, I guess. So it was really good that I did that pre-soak or midway soak. So I'm keeping this locking stitch marker or progress keeper at where I was when I soaked it. There is a difference. I guess it's more to the touch than to the eye, but I can see the difference as well. So I know it bloomed, and I really love the fabric it's creating, but I would have liked to seen some growth. Well, and then I was okay. So as I said, I realized that I really want to have this finished by Christmas, because that would be lovely. So yesterday evening, before I went to bed, I was stupid enough to start to calculate. So I did a quick calculation over just how much I have left on the body. Then I obviously have the sleeves and the inside of the pockets left, obviously, to knit. I have about 23,000 stitches left, give or take, on the body, and then the sleeves and the pockets. So I was like, so in an attempt to sort of cheer me up, I did a very, you know, rounded off calculation on how many stitches there are, which is at least like 75,000 stitches, so, well, okay, that's better. So there is going to be like about 100,000 stitches for the body, and then, well, it's knit top down with raglan increases for the sleeves, so that included sort of the shoulder sleeve cap, I guess. But there are going to be like 100,000 stitches for the body, and then the sleeves and the pockets. They're not massive, but it still needs to be done. So we'll have to see if I'm able to get this finished or not. I am really enjoying it, and I am very much looking forward to having the finished object, because I think it's going to be amazing. So, well, when I realized that it wasn't growing at all, I jumped onto the site where I had bought the yarn. And I found the yarn and they had 3 skeins left. So I ordered them and they just got here today. So those were my works in progress, and now we're getting on to stash enhancement. So I got these 3 skeins because that's what's all they had left. What's really good is that it is the same dye lot. So I'm guessing they got, you know, the batch, and that was what they had. So that's good news for me. So I have 3 additional skeins. And I don't know, I just thought, you know, if I buy too much, I can always do something else. I can always make something else out of it. But if there is not enough yarn... And then just to be safe, I also got... It's the same yarn, but as you can see, it's a lighter grey. So that if this darker, like charcoal, graphite, grey, this one, if I run out of that, I could make the inside of the pockets out of this grey. I could also, excuse me, knit the cuffs on the sleeves in this, or you know, something to make it work. And yeah, I really don't know, maybe I have plenty of yarn. We'll have to see. So, but I got this, you know, just to be safe. And then I also got another very just simple circular needle, 2.5 mil needle, because I currently have I have 4 I have 4 circular needles in 2.5 mil size, and they are all in that project right now. So I'm knitting on one, the sleeves are on one each, and then I have a long one for the pocket stitches as a stitch holder. So I thought, you know, it could be good just to have another needle, because I did knit in, before separating for the pockets, I did knit in that needle around the body so that I could try it on, and the fit is good. It's really good. But now I don't have any other needle to knit in to try it on, or I would have to go down a size and, you know, just move the stitches over and not knit it in, but that would mean a lot of work for no progress. So another needle just to have something. And then, since I was on there, I just had a look around and I ordered 2 balls of sock wool. So this is Järbo Raggi, excuse me, which is a Swedish brand. It calls for, what does it call for? 4.5 to 5 mil needles. And it is 100 grams, and that is about 150 meters per ball. So I don't know what that is, if that is like a worsted, or I haven't learned the yarn weights. But these are gonna be like thick socks. So I got, this is called like coconut or something like that. It doesn't say on here, it just says the color number on here, but it was called like coconut or something. And then I got like this solid brown to, I don't know, make maybe solid feet and variegated cuffs or legs, something like that. I don't know, I just got these because I've been wanting to knit, with all these projects sort of being on smaller size needles, I've been wanting to knit something on heavier, on a larger gauge. So I wanted to knit a pair of socks, so I got these. And then with that order I also got just some fluff some stuffing. What is it? It's like polyester. It's polyester stuffing or fluff. Because I wanted the free shipping. So it was less expensive to get that and not pay for shipping than to not get that and pay for shipping. So that's all the stash enhancement I've had. I actually been really good this week. Several times, or at least 2 times, I've been standing in a store. I haven't visited a yarn store, but you know, sometimes other stores carries yarn as well. I've been standing in a store holding a skein of yarn and was like, I don't need it, and I put it back and I walked away. Good girl. I really don't need any yarn. Of course I do, but not anymore right now. Yes. Someone a while ago had asked me, and it completely slipped my mind, and I remembered it right now, and I am sorry, I just don't remember at all who it might be. Someone had asked anyway about socks. How do you know how to knit the socks if you're knitting for someone else? How do you know how long to make them if you're gifting them? I believe it was a lady, so she said that she had made some cardboard cutouts for some of her family members, so that she could knit for them even if they were not around to try it on. Which is a good idea, of course, but then she asked as well as, you know, what do you do if you want to surprise someone? Or make a gift or something like that. So, what I do, because you might know that I do sometimes knit socks as gifts for others. What I do is ask what size shoes they wear. And either I ask, you know, the person themselves, or if I want to be a little bit more secretive, I ask, you know, someone else who lives with them, or you can figure that out, right? So in asking what size shoes they have, and then you can go online and search for, like, there are charts, I get, like spread sheets over sizes of shoes and what they are in centimeters. I know that I saved like the image on my computer of one of these spreadsheets, and it had like the European size and American size and, you know, different things. But what I'm going for is mostly just, you know, how many centimeters does that mean? And then I knit by that. The thing is, when I'm knitting for someone else, most times I will be knitting, you know, mostly just a plain vanilla sock fit. There might be some lace or something going on, but not like a super weird fit, just to keep it, you know, simple. Because the thing is, what's good about knitted fabric is that it's sort of stretchy. It's pretty forgiving if the size isn't perfect. And if I'm making like a complete surprise gift for someone, I might not be expecting it to be the best fit ever, but good enough. And that's how I do, and that is what works for me. Whoa. And then I'm also trying to make sure to knit, you know, a toe and a heel that I pretty much know, so that I can anticipate how long it's going to be. so that it doesn't turn out to be, you know, way shorter or way longer than I had. Oh, what's the word? I really need a Christmas break. Anticipated, I guess. And if I'm trying out a new heel or a new toe, I am usually knitting that for myself so that I can try it on my foot as I go. So I hope that sort of answers your question. That's how I do it. If you have any like great tips, please share. So I don't think I've had any more questions that I haven't answered. If you know that you've asked a question that I didn't answer, please do tell me. Because I don't think I've missed anything now. And I also want to thank you all very much for all the feedback on last week's episode. And I guess it was mostly like the little song towards the end. And again, it was just a very simple thing, you know, you saw the mess, my hair was all over the place. That's what it is. It wasn't supposed to be, you know, fancy by any means. So thank you very much for taking it for what it was meant to be. Thank you very much for that. And thank you for your comments and sweet messages. It really, again, it really lights up the what is still November darkness over here. So thank you very much for that. Did I talk about everything that I wanted to talk about of that sort? I talked about the socks, and I talked about my projects. Yeah, I think I might have done. So about the drama of the healthcare system. For those of you who might be new, earlier this fall I went to the doctor. I found myself, I felt that I had been badly treated, not like treated, but rude. She was rude. The doctor was rude. And then I went online to, excuse me, then I went online to look at my medical chart, which you can do, and there were untruths in there, giving answers to questions I hadn't been asked, and words that she had, you know, done tests that she hadn't done. And so I tried to, okay, so I just took the fight. Let me just sum it up like that. And I've been in touch with one of our local news sites, like a newspaper online. And that was quite a while ago, and nothing much has happened on that front. That lady who works there, she got in contact with me again 2 weeks ago, I think, saying that, or giving me an explanation, that they had much more urgent things, like there had been murders and trials and, you know, more urgent things like that they had to work on. And this is more of a timeless piece. So it was set to the side for that time, which is, I mean, I get that. It's completely fine. And now she sent me an email today that I'm not going to read out loud because it's in Swedish. But she wanted to update me that she is trying to get in contact with the executive, whatever, boss over there. And she is calling and calling and calling and calling, and she doesn't answer. And her colleagues, the boss's colleagues, are just sort of, you know, oh, she's very busy. So this journalist lady says that the boss is supposed to be on this specific location on Monday, and then she is going on vacation. So if she doesn't answer in the morning on Monday, I'm going there to confront her in person. And that's pretty exciting, I think. I am very curious to see how this is working out, and I am very happy that, you know, someone else is not necessarily on my side, because she is a journalist and she needs to be neutral like that, but she is on board with the fight that as a patient I should be able to just, you know, rely on my medical chart being true to what has actually happened. So I will keep you updated, because I know some of you had asked me to do that and to make sure that I share the piece when it gets published, which it obviously hasn't been yet, but I'm getting there. There's the other thing I wanted to talk about. Right, back to the knitting. I knew there was something. Okay, so I said with this, the hat, I was done with the other subject, by the way. The yarn calls for size 4mm needles, and I had gone down to a 3, because I usually need to go down a couple of sizes, because I knit pretty loosely. With this, however, which is knit on size 2.5s, the working needle, as I mentioned, I have 4 needles in here. The working needle is an Addi premium needle with a golden cord. This is an Addi lace with the red. So these tips are less pointy, which I sort of like. I am bending the needle, especially the right one. Is it something, has anyone had this experience? Are these tips especially soft? It doesn't really bother me, but I'm just really, you know, weirded out. What's going on? Because with this gauge being so small, maybe I knit, you know, maybe I hold on tighter, but I usually knit, you know, pretty loosely. So what's going on? And so I realized I had bent it, and so I've been trying to you know, get it back, which then probably means I'm, you know, overbending it in another way or whatever. But sometimes I think it's pretty good, and then I realize it's wonky. What's going on? Please, has anyone else had this experience with Addi Premium? Please tell me. And then I realized, so it's the right needle. It's the same needle, but the right tip, or the tip that I hold in my right hand. So I realized, because a lot of time I drink hot tea or warm tea when I'm knitting. So I will, you know, hold a glass of warm tea in my hand, take a sip, and then put it down, and then grab the needle again, and my hand will be, you know, extra warm. Is that part of it? I don't know. And I'm intrigued. And as I said, I'm not really bothered with it. Of course, I am happier when it doesn't happen. I'm a bit distracted by it, perhaps. And it just ever so slightly bends, you know. I don't think I'm risking. I'm about to break it, or that it's not in the join. It's just, you know, in the needle. And yeah. So please, has anyone had that experience? Please tell me, because that's the first I've ever had with circular needles. Anyway, I know I've bent some like old, like aluminum GPNs in the very thinner sizes, but that's not the same thing, I guess. Well, I knew there was something else. Okay, I guess that's pretty much all I have to talk about. I am planning on keeping up my recording schedule interval, let me say, over the holidays coming up. But the weeks coming up, so lately I've been getting the episodes up on Fridays for the most part. In the upcoming weeks, I don't really see that happening. so I will probably be able to record and upload later on in the weekends coming up. So I hope that you understand that. I think you do. So my plan is to keep up with weekly episodes, but they might be slightly delayed in the schedule. Just so you know. And I realized I'm just keep on glancing over. I don't really know. I just saw something in the corner of my eye, and I don't know what it was that I saw. Okay. It's just one of those days. So, that's all I have to talk to you about today. Again, get in contact with me if you want to. You can like and subscribe and comment here on YouTube. You can be my friend or follow me or write to me on Instagram and Ravelry, where I'm also sjomajlin. Thank you for all the feedback and for all your loveliness. Please be kind to yourselves and to one another, and take it easy with holiday crafting and cleaning and dressing and everything. Enjoy the holidays. And I will talk to you next time.